hydromatic drive and futuramic styling. And this one has Mel Torme.
Mel Torme?
Well, hello.
The history of car loans.
Show me the money!
Imagine a world where you had to pay cold, hard cash for your car. No weekly or monthly payments, no financing, just straight up money on the hood. That was North America before 1919, and boy, did that limit who could buy a car. Back at the dawn of the 20th century, buying a car was like trying to buy a house with the contents of your piggy bank. The average Model T cost $825 in 1919. That's about $14,000 in today's money. And you had to pay it up front. But car dealers were getting creative. Some accepted payments in livestock. Yeah, you heard that right. 2 cows and a flock of chickens could get you rolling.
I'll trade you.
I give you 2 chickens for it.
Others took installment payments, but it was mostly done informally, under the table. Enter John Raskob, a financial wizard at General Motors who had the idea that would change everything. Picture this. It's 1919 and he's sitting in his office, probably twirling his mustache, when it dawned on him, hey, what if we helped people buy cars? And just like that, GMAC, the General Motors Acceptance Corporation, was born. But here's the really clever part. GMAC wasn't just giving out loans, they were creating a whole new way of thinking about buying luxury items. Before GMAC, most people thought debt was shameful for larger, seemingly unnecessary or luxury items. It was something you only did if you were desperate. This may surprise you, but many years ago it was common to have book credit, basically running a tab at the grocery store. So it wasn't unusual for people 100 years ago to be financing smaller day-to-day items like bread from the corner store or clothing from mail-order magazines. What was unusual was loans for larger items like car loans. But GMAC made car loans respectable. They made them normal. They made them American. It was like they gave permission for Canadians and Americans to start thinking differently about debt. Instead of thinking of it as debt, they encouraged us to think of it as credit. And credit is good, right?
Now that's what I call a good-looking car.
Our society had come to a fork in the road. Continue to save up for larger purchases or pick it up today with a smaller down payment. And the results? They were faster than a hot rod at a drag race. In 1919, after GMAC opened their doors, 25% of cars were bought on credit. And by 1926, that number had zoomed up to 75%. Cars were rolling off the lots faster than you can say, buy now, pay later. Financing was winning, but GMAC didn't just change how we buy cars. They accidentally invented modern consumer credit. Think about it. Every time you make a payment on your furniture or finance a smartphone, you are using a system that GMAC changed, modernized, and in some ways pioneered. They changed how we think about debt versus credit and evolved the credit market for consumers and dealerships. They created the blueprint for professional loan servicing, the idea that it's okay to buy now, pay later for luxury, and of course, they created the entire auto finance industry. And get this, GMAC was so successful that other car companies had to play catch up. Henry Ford was famously against putting his customers into debt. He despised the idea of the car loan. He opened savings accounts that paid interest to his customers. But by 1928, Ford had to cave. It was like watching your grandpa finally get a smartphone.
How do you type a firework?
No, so I imagine. The ripple effects went way beyond cars. By making credit respectable, GMAC helped create our modern consumer economy. They created a debt-based economy. Without them, we might still have to be saving up for years to buy major appliances.
And he owns some of those work-saving appliances we all admire so much.
So, is this access to financing for purchases good or bad? Well, financing has helped drive innovation, it's sped up economic growth, and it's improved our quality of life. But on the flip side, credit is debt when you use it, and cars are more expensive than ever. If you're not careful when using debt, you can end up in a sticky situation. Remember, just because these credit products and services exist, like zero down payments, low weekly payments over 7 years, and so on, it doesn't mean you have to fully participate in them. I believe using less debt is always best. Try saving for a larger down payment for your next car. I know it's not easy, but every bit counts. Or consider a less expensive vehicle or browse the used car market for a good deal. The less you borrow today means the less you owe tomorrow. Your future self will thank you. To learn more about debt and for help with the financial struggles you may be facing, please subscribe to Debt Free in 30, watch the podcast, or browse our wide selection of videos on personal finance.